Hello, I'm Fiona Orford-Williams. I'm a director at Edison Group and I look after the media sector. With us this afternoon, we've got James Clifton, who's the CEO of the Mission Group. Good afternoon, James. It's nice to see you again.
Hi, Fiona. Lovely to see you too.
You've just reported your FY22 results. Do you want to tell us a bit about the trading background that you've had in the second half of the year?
Yes, thanks very much. As you know, we are traditionally second half year weighted, and 2022 was no exception to that. That was why it was really pleasing that we did have what we needed to do, an excellent second half year. And we actually traded 10% up on the previous year on 2021. So then if you look at how that extrapolates out to the full year, that meant that total revenues were indeed 10% up year on year, and the headline operating profit was up 8%. So really good set of results, something we're really proud of. If you drill down a layer, actually where a lot of that growth came from was technology and healthcare. They were probably the standout performance sectors in 2022. But it was particularly pleasing to see events bounce back, and they had actually 30% year-on-year growth versus 2021. Lastly, if we just look a little bit further afield internationally, North America as a territory had a really incredible year, and they posted 43% growth. So again, some really good indicators there.
And anything in particular in terms of new business and pipeline?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a long time ago this time last year, but 2022 quickly changed. I mean, like everybody, you start a new year full of hope and aspiration. And one of the things that the industry was particularly looking forward to was a buoyant new business year. And because of everything that happened, much publicized, we don't need to go into that here, that business boom didn't happen. Recent stats that have come out are sort of showing that whilst volume was up 11%, global new business volume was up 11%, actually the value of that new business was down by 35%. So actually our own performance, I think, is a bit of a standout because we won over £13 million worth of revenue from new clients and from a wide and diverse mix. So on one hand, BMW in Japan, and then on the other, SES here in the UK. Now, because we kind of obviously knew in real time that new business market wasn't where we thought it would be, we also, as we would always do, focused on existing clients. So if you look at our long-standing and loyal client base as referenced by our top 10 clients, 9 of our top 10 clients grew significantly again last year. And actually in terms of total revenue, posted over 7 million more revenue than they did in 2021. So again, working really, really well with regards to that organic growth and then getting our sort of fair share of the new business market, albeit lower in value than the industry anticipated.
And with these results, you've taken some restructuring and tidying up exercises. How does that leave the balance sheet and how do you see that developing through the current year?
Yeah, I mean, really good question. And as you can sort of see, we did make some notable adjustments. And I think your word, if I can borrow it back, is a really good one, is kind of tidying up. You know, we are at the end of the strategic cycle coming out of the back of the pandemic, which was all around investing and rebuilding and getting the business back to where it was in 2019. And we're kind of pretty much there. If you look at our revenue per head count, that is actually at pre-pandemic levels, albeit staff cost has gone up. You know, that's something that we need to sort of like manage going forward. But again, that's because of the market dynamics at the moment. So what it allowed us to do is we are going to enter the next 3-year strategic cycle. So at this point, let's just sort of tidy that up. And so of the 7 million adjustments that we're making, the large share of that actually comes with a restructuring of 2 non-core operations. Bray Leno Splash, which not only is Asia, but also across China as well. And then also Pathfinder, which is our asset tracking solution. Now, both of those have entered this year leaner, more agile. Certainly Bray Leno Splash's case started 2023, you know, very well. And Pathfinder remains very exciting as we look to capitalize on their expanding product offering. So yes, there were very much a sort of a tidying up exercise that sort of made for the large part of that adjustments. The rest of it, as you can appreciate, was the investments that we made, whether that was in Liberty, whether that was in the new data and growth media capability that I'm sure we'll come on to talk about, or indeed just the cost of the acquisitions that we did make in the financial year 22.
Now, there have been 2 or 3 small acquisitions that you've made. You just want to tell us a little bit about those and what they bring to the party?
Yeah, great. I mean, populated influence, two of the ones that you reference, will both join our sports and entertainment agency, Mongoose, to sort of form the Mongoose Group. Now, Mongoose, an existing Mission Group agency, were really strong in sort of track and field properties within that sports sector. And Influence, a specialist in road and water, so Formula One, sailing, the America's Cup is one of their properties. So together, actually, their reach and expertise will be unparalleled. You then add Populate into the mix, and actually they are one of the only sports and entertainment agencies with a dedicated social media offering at their heart, meaning that every brief that they answer is all about making brands culturally relevant. So really lovely to see them working, bedding in together so quickly, and excited to see the growth that we're going to get from them in 2023. Meso Labs was our most recent acquisition, and that's going to sit within our Mission Advantage platform. So that's a central service to all of our agencies. And that's because they actually are a data outfit in old sort of very simple layman's terms. They help brands get the best from their existing data infrastructure, using insights so they can think faster, have actionable insight, act smarter, and really use the power of analytics to sell more to their customers. So as I sort of say, that's a central capability, which, from the mission perspective, just means we are expanding all of the group's capabilities in data science and digital analytics, which is obviously only going to be to the betterment of not only our agencies, but obviously then on to their clients as well.
And very recently, you've announced the launch of something you're calling Turbine or Turbine.
Turbine, yes.
Okay. Do you want to explain the thinking behind that?
Yes, and I think you're probably aware that when you talk about these sort of things, you could get lost in a lot of jargon. So I will try and keep it very simple, because basically they are a media agency, but they're a growth media agency. So they only work in trackable media. Obviously, whilst it's global in its scope, it's predominantly digital media, but all around showing a clear and transparent measurement so you can see the effectiveness of that media spend. Basically what Turbine are there to do. So you could argue that they're the real embodiment of the mission's philosophy of work that counts, improving a client's real business performance through integrated, transparent, and channel agnostic campaigns. It's kind of what they do. So for those that are more familiar with media, that means that they work in not only paid, but also earned and owned media assets and just deliver a holistic campaign, but all underpinned, because they will work very closely with Meso Labs, data and analytics.
That sounds like you've got a very exciting and busy year ahead of you. We look forward to hearing more about it as it progresses. Thank you very much, James.
Thanks very much, Fiona. Lovely to see you again. Thanks very much for your time. Appreciate it.